countdown.
What if I told you about a mysterious object, and it appears all over the world in different continents, thousands of miles away from each other, thousands of years apart, and historians have no idea what it is, and they insist these people should have never been able to communicate.
And here's the crazy part. Nobody can tell you exactly what it is.
Tonight we're discussing one of history's most strangest trails, and by the end, you can decide whether it's coincidence, shared knowledge, or evidence that we're much more connected than we ever thought.
Beyond the realm of the known, where the truth is rarely shown, in the shadows, in the skies, in the questions we can't deny, beyond the realm of the known, lie the mysteries of out there. Ghosts in the dark, footsteps in air, lights in the sky that stop and stare, whispers of things we're not alone, secrets buried, never shown. Tim and Joey take you there, through the truth or the scare, what's real and what's unaware. Welcome to Out There.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
So good to be here. It seems like
How
it's
you
been
guys
forever.
doing? Let's say hello to our guest,
Yeah, who's in there tonight?
Christine. Hey, baby. How are
Hey,
you?
Christine. Always good to see you.
Always depend on you. Thank you.
You can support us by sending stars. Is that on Facebook?
Yes, it is.
Us. So anyway, we've talked about this.
How you doing, Joey?
I'm doing good. How you been?
How's Arizona?
Hot?
Yeah, Texas is hot too. One of the hottest we've had on record.
Yeah, it's hot streak we've had on record.
Yeah. Well, good to be alive.
That's the important part.
That's the important thing. So
Let's see, what is it right now? It's only 115 out there right now.
Oh, yeah. What's your humidity? That's a thing.
Yeah,
right
the
there.
humidity is the killer. Let's see, 115 and
So we're 95, humidity 44, feels like 102.
yeah, humidity is only 14% right now. So,
Oh, damn you.
I'll tell you what, though, I actually never thought I would say I miss the humidity, but
No.
when my nasal passages dry out like they do and my lips get all chapped, it's like
Really?
that never really happened in Texas.
Yeah, but your air conditioning in your car doesn't work for like 20 minutes. And
Well, I never went anywhere except
So-
to your place.
so
I drove
here's-
to your house once in a while. So
I'll tell you what's funny is, all right, so it can be like, it feels like 117 outside, but guess what? You can walk out on the concrete and it doesn't burn your feet. Explain that to me.
yeah.
In Arizona, you can't step
Oh,
on
that'd
it.
be 140 degrees on the concrete, or
But
145. Yeah.
here, it's 107, 110 feel like, and I can walk out to the Hummer and you can walk on you can walk on the asphalt and it doesn't burn your feet. Explain that to me.
You got a
Makes
cushion of
no
moisture.
sense. Makes no sense at all.
Arizona misses you too, Christine. Look forward to you coming back in October, I believe.
Yes, sir. Can't wait. Where's Christine?
She's in Ohio.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
How's Ohio? Is it hot up there like that?
It gets hot everywhere. Can't believe all the fires and
Oh,
crap.
just north of Fort Worth, man, there's like 50,000 acres on fire.
Wow. The whole world's on fire. And they had the big old flood in Tibet, or I know China or whatever today, a big old that took out a lot of people. It was like a landslide, and then a big old rush of water came through, and yeah, they showed it on the news. So you watched people running, and then a big old bye.
Yeah.
It was
Can't fool
kind of hard to watch.
nature.
It happens. It's only 79. You suck.
That's just wrong.
Yeah.
In Ohio, it's 79 degrees. That's just wrong. That's wrong.
Hi, Tim's mom.
Where's Mom?
She's checking in.
Oh, there's Mom. I'm going to do a shout out real quick.
All right, you do that. I'm going to pull up the notes and we'll kind of get underway because I think this is going to go long if we don't. And it's his birthday.
My dad, Scotty, is in real bad shape. He took a bad fall and he's in the hospital and he's not really communicating. And so we're asking for prayers for him. Keep him in your prayers.
Definitely.
He's not doing too well. So also pray for my mom because it's going to be rough on her. But Mom, we're all with you. And we got a big group of supporters out there, a lot of prayer warriors. So keep him in your prayers. Keep my mom in your prayers.
Please do that. Yeah, that actually one of my favorite episodes we did at The Truth About Beer.
Scotty.
We had Scotty on.
Yeah.
Amazing person.
We've lost him, man. He was so informative. He was so incredibly knowledgeable and just everything. And we're going to miss that. We're really going to miss that. So keep him in your prayers.
Absolutely.
So,
well, we've talked about doing this one for a while, and I'm sure everybody out there has probably seen a picture, a hieroglyph, a carving of some sort where you got some ancient, yeah, you got some ancient person carrying a Gucci or a handbag of some sort, and
or what's the other one? Not the Gucci. What's the other one? That's worth
Louis. No, that's shoes.
Louis Vuitton. Yeah, Louis Vuitton.
Louis Vuitton. Do they make purses too?
Yeah.
I know they
Louis
make
Vuitton.
shoes.
Yeah. No, Louis Vuitton makes one, and a Cartier.
Cartier, you get, and then the budget friendly, still high end is a Coach.
Much more. Yeah. So this is gonna blow your mind. This is one of the shows that Joey and I have talked about for a long time. And unfortunately, we had to put it off for a couple of weeks because there was just so much information. Plus, Joey got a little bit of cough, and I had a little bit of misfortune. I had some stuff. He had some stuff. So, and the good part about it is we've had a lot of time to explore and investigate and look up a lot more information on the topic, but this is probably one of the most interesting topics that don't really get a whole lot of
attention. You mean, or
attention?
Yeah, or, I mean, I see it mentioned here and there, but no one's ever really.
It's mentioned in really some shows, like off to the side. There's never been like a show on the topic of what we're about to talk about. And it's just fascinating. And we can't wait to have your guys' opinions. And we think you'll enjoy all of this real quick. And it's very credible. I mean, there's tons of proof and tons of artifacts and tons of... it goes way, way back.
Well, we have a lot of help tonight, Tim, too. I'm going to have Knightley come in, and he's on location.
But so anyway, enjoy. This is going to be a great show. I hope you enjoy it, and let's get it started.
All right. Like I said, Knightley is on location in Göbekli Tepe for this one. He's going to tell us a little bit about what's happening here.
History has a peculiar habit of leaving us little riddles, tiny details hidden in plain sight that somehow survive the rise and fall of entire civilizations. Before us lies one of the oldest monumental sites ever discovered, Göbekli Tepe, a place constructed nearly 12,000 years ago, long before Stonehenge, and thousands of years before the Egyptian pyramids. Yet, among its extraordinary carvings is something unexpectedly familiar, a curious object with a handle, one that modern observers often compare to a handbag. A rather amusing comparison until you begin finding remarkably similar objects in the hands of sacred figures thousands of miles away. Ancient Mesopotamia, Assyria, the civilizations of the Americas, even cultures separated by vast oceans and thousands of years, all appear to depict strangely similar handled objects carried by gods, creators, priests, and beings of great importance. Are they ceremonial buckets, sacred containers, symbols of knowledge or life itself? Or are we looking at fragments of a forgotten story, one remembered by civilizations that, according to conventional history, should never have shared such imagery at all? Archaeologists have offered explanations, ancient astronaut theorists have proposed others, and somewhere between established history and extraordinary speculation lies one of archaeology's most enduring mysteries. So, why were the gods of the ancient world carrying what appears to be the very same object? Today, we open another case file and begin digging into one of history's most fascinating enigma, the mystery might of the ancient handbags.
Out there.
Hey, I'll bring us back in this way. So yeah, first time you saw one of those hieroglyphs or pictures of whatever, what did you see?
Okay, all right. So when I first saw them, it was just so mysterious and overwhelming that I just kind of didn't even respond to it. I don't know if you can understand. Like, I mean, and we'll get to something else later that was the same thing that we're going to get into. But when I first saw the handbags, I'm like, oh, the little the purses. And then I started seeing more of them. And then I started seeing more of them. And I started seeing them from, Tibet and from Asia and from all these different continents and all these carvings and petroglyphs and hieroglyphs and things. And I started seeing these little bags. And I'm like, what are these little freaking bags about? They had the wings, Anunnaki, and they had the people, and then they had the images of beings with like different, like humans with like goat heads and bird heads and all that. But then they all were carrying this little purse. And I'm like, what the hell is that little purse all about? And it took me a while before it finally sank in that, wait a minute, these things are like all over the world. They're all over different continents and different things. What's up with that? And we've been doing these shows for a long time. We've been doing Out There for a long time. And it didn't click until just a few months ago, that, Joey, what are these little bags everybody's carrying? And so I started talking to Joey, and Joey says, you know what? I don't know. Now that you mention it, I see those too. And so we started exploring and investigating these little bags. Oh my gosh, has it opened up my world, and I believe Joey's too. And we still don't have a complete final explanation, but we have a lot of good theories. And we'd like for you guys, and also scientists and archaeologists and everything have noted them, they've acknowledged them, but there's not been a whole lot of opinion about them. There's not been a whole lot of things, but they come from many different cultures. And I think scientists have never really hit the topic because it's profound. Nobody, I mean,
well, many of them have all kinds of opinions on it. Well, I mean, I think that was the first thing that struck me, is just that how this thing that looks like a purse or a handbag, could appear in so many different places all over the world from different societies that nenever should have met, or how did they meet
each other?
Yeah. But, we have we have several, we'll call them experts that we're going to hear from tonight, give their explanations of it. And then we can talk about their explanations and
yeah. And I'm sure many people have seen the images, but I can't understand why nobody's brought it up. It's right in plain sight, but nobody's ever said, hey, wait a minute, what is this? I've never seen a show on it. I've never seen.
Well, I've seen Ancient Aliens talk about it. I mean, it's been on quite a bit of stuff.
So what do they call it?
But
what have they said about it?
They haven't really said a lot, but they bring it up. They talk about it
up in many different shows and documentaries, but nobody has ever put a name to it or explained what it is.
Well, let's hear this next expert's take on it.
Do that.
See what we think about it.
And if you have an idea, please let us know in the comments.
Yeah, drop it in the comments, please.
Any good investigator must ask is not, what do we want this object to be? But rather, what evidence do we actually have? To understand the archaeological perspective, we spoke with field archaeologist Dr. Sarah Mitchell, whose work has taken her from the ruins of Mesopotamia to the ancient temples of Anatolia. Her explanation is grounded in centuries of archaeological research and may well be the simplest answer. But does simplicity always tell the whole story?
I've spent more than 20 years documenting ancient iconography throughout Mesopotamia and Anatolia, and without question, the most common question people ask me is about these so-called ancient handbags. And honestly, I understand why. To modern eyes, they really do look remarkably familiar. If you didn't know better, you might think someone carved a leather satchel into stone thousands of years ago. But archaeology teaches us to resist first impressions. Rather than asking what an object reminds us of today, we ask what it meant to the people who created it. In the Assyrian reliefs, these handled objects almost always appear alongside figures known as the Apkallu, beings associated with wisdom, protection, and sacred knowledge. In their opposite hand, they're often holding what appears to be a pine cone. That combination is important because the prevailing archaeological interpretation is that we're looking at a ceremonial purification ritual. The handled object is believed to be a ritual bucket, perhaps containing sacred water, while the pine cone was used to sprinkle that water during blessings performed for kings, temples, or the symbolic tree of life. Taken within the context of Assyrian culture, it's actually a very well supported explanation. But here's where the conversation becomes genuinely interesting. People began noticing similarly shaped objects appearing in completely different civilizations. Turkey, Mesopotamia, India, even parts of the ancient Americas. Now, similarity doesn't necessarily mean connection. Throughout history, different cultures have independently developed similar tools, similar architecture, even similar religious symbols. Human beings often arrive at remarkably similar ideas without ever meeting one another. Even so, I'll admit, the repeated appearance of this particular shape is intriguing. Why this design? Why is it so often carried by beings associated with creation, wisdom, or divine authority? And why was it important enough to be carved into monuments intended to survive for thousands of years? Those are excellent questions. Some may eventually have straightforward archaeological answers. Others we simply haven't solved yet. And that's exactly why archaeology remains one of the most exciting professions in the world. Every new discovery has the potential to rewrite a chapter of human history.
Yeah, amazing.
So, yeah, I mean, I said a lot of that makes sense to me, but that's the biggest part that's confusing about it, is how many places it shows up. How many different cultures could adopt that same ritual and have never, without having met each other. What did Christine say there? I'm sorry. I was flapping my gums.
That's a very good observation. Symbolize units of measure, cosmic containers. That's what Google says. All right, so we have to play some more before we get to mine and Joey's opinions.
Yeah, we have more.
Mom, I'd like to hear your opinion on it if you care to weigh in.
Well, I think after when I studied that one and from Dr. Mitchell was it just kind of like, that kind of makes sense with the pine cone in the water. That does do a great job of dispersing water in a ritual way. So as far as that goes, but
I can't completely believe it was holding water. That's a good theory.
Yeah, whatever the liquid was, or if it was liquid at all, I don't know. Maybe it was moon dust.
It could have been liquid. I have different opinions on it, but
very interesting though.
It's one idea. I think there's a lot more ideas, but
yeah,
I can't put the pine cone and the water together. That doesn't really make a whole lot of sense to me. I'm going on a whole different theory, but
I'm anxious to hear that too.
I'll accept all of them.
Well, let's hear another expert's take on it and see what we think about that.
History. Symbols have displayed an extraordinary ability to outlive the civilizations that created them. If these objects are merely ceremonial buckets, why do they appear so consistently beside figures associated with wisdom, creation, and divine authority? Professor Michael Brennan believes the answer may lie not in the object itself, but in what it represented.
One of the great mistakes we make is assuming ancient people carved only what they saw. More often, they carved what mattered. The object itself isn't what fascinates me. It's where it appears. Again and again and again. This curious handled symbol accompanies figures associated with creation, wisdom, knowledge, divine authority. That's rarely an accident. When symbols repeat across generations, they usually preserve ideas far more important than the objects themselves. Take the Tree of Life, for example. You'll find versions of it throughout Mesopotamia, Egypt, India, Norse mythology, even Mesoamerica. The trees may look different, the stories certainly differ, yet they almost always represent the same fundamental idea: the connection between heaven, earth, knowledge, and life itself. Now notice something rather interesting. The handled object frequently appears beside that very symbol. Could that simply be coincidence? Perhaps. Or perhaps the object itself had become a visual shorthand, a symbol everyone understood, much the way a crown immediately tells us king, or scales suggest justice. The ancient viewer may never have seen a bucket. They may have seen knowledge, creation, authority, or even the right to pass sacred wisdom from one generation to the next. This is where comparative mythology becomes so fascinating. Independent civilizations often tell remarkably similar stories. Great floods, sacred mountains, divine teachers, trees of life, serpents of wisdom. The stories are different, yet the themes remain astonishingly familiar. That doesn't necessarily prove a common origin. Human beings ask many of the same questions. Where did we come from? Who taught us? Why are we here? But when those recurring ideas are accompanied by recurring symbols, the conversation becomes considerably more interesting. Perhaps we're not looking at a bucket at all. Perhaps we're looking at an idea carved into stone. And ideas have an extraordinary way of surviving long after civilizations disappear.
Hey, we're back.
So, see,
what do you think of that?
I don't see any connection with water there.
No, I mean, his point was more maybe it symbolizes knowledge. Maybe it's more of a symbol than it is an actual object.
You're absolutely right. Absolutely. And that's one of the reasons we're doing this show, is because, all right, so if you watch, like I was watching the last time our last Pope came into office or came into power, and they had the rituals, and he went out and they did all the normal, the stuff that they do. And if you'll notice that the people behind him are carrying a staff, and on the top of the staff was a pine cone. All right. And if you look at the guy behind him, he's carrying a thing that he's swinging that has smoke. And he's swinging it back and forth, and it's like smoking, right? You saw that, right?
Yeah. So is that an element that's missing from these?
Okay. And
these
there's another
baskets
man,
or whatever.
there's another guy that was holding a purse. It's in his hand, and he's walking like the third guy in line, after the guy with the pine cone, after the guy with the smoke, after the guy with it. And there's one guy, and he's got a thing in his hand. It's like a satchel. It looked like a satchel. It looked like a purse. All right. And he's carrying that behind the Pope. And not a whole lot of people focus in on, I mean, I noticed the thing with the smoke. Everybody,
that's kind of hard to miss.
You can't miss that. And the guy with the staff, he's got a staff. But if you look at the staff, it's got the huge pine cone.
What's on it?
It's a pine cone. And if you look at the guy following him, he's got a satchel, but it looks like an offering plate or a bag or a purse. I mean, nobody paid any attention to it. And this has been going on for hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of years with the pine cone and the bag. And so, all right. Do we have more before we give our opinions?
Oh, we got lots more.
We got lots of more. All right, so let's go through the whole thing before we give our opinions.
Then, okay. Well, I think the next one's really interesting because it's by a native to one of the digs. And I
Hi,
mean,
Amy.
it's
Welcome
generational.
aboard. We love you. We're glad you're here. This is an interesting topic. We hope you can catch up. But, Mom, I agree. You've watched a lot of spiritual stuff. They rarely mention anything about it in detail, and you're absolutely right. That's why this is so fascinating. But anyway, here we go.
So this one This one is generational. So,
not only in stone but also in stories. Long before archaeologists arrived with notebooks, cameras, and ground-penetrating radar, local families passed down legends about these ancient hills from one generation to the next. Sometimes folklore preserves detail that history has overlooked.
I have worked these hills since I was a young man. Before that, my father worked here. And before him, my grandfather. People think only archaeologists know these places. But the workers, we hear many stories. When my grandfather worked these hills, the old men used to say, the stone people carried the basket of heaven. That is what they called it. Not a bucket, not a bag. The basket of heaven. I do not know why. No one ever explained. That was simply its name. The old workers believed the basket carried knowledge, life, blessings, things given to mankind by the people who came before. Were those stories true? I cannot tell you. I never saw such things. Neither did my father. Perhaps not even my grandfather. But every generation told the next generation exactly the same stories. And when stories survive longer than kingdoms, longer than empires, longer than languages, I believe they deserve to be remembered. These are not my stories. These are the stories our fathers told us, and their fathers before them.
Through any kind of manuscript, it's done.
Start over again. We were muted.
Oh, I'm sorry. And
I muted us because we don't get muted during those videos, and if we make any noise, which I was making noise, so that's why I muted us.
And so that's an interesting thing is these things aren't written, they aren't recorded in writing and in scripture or any kind of legend. They're passed down from generation to generation to generation to generation by word of mouth. So that's where our hang up is here, is we don't have a lot of information on it because we haven't found it in any written text about what they are.
Well, it's much like our Native American history here.
Exactly.
You know? I mean, it's all
Native Hopi,
handed down.
Comanche,
stories.
Apache, all that stuff is passed down from generation to generation. There's no writings of their, when you go out and you see Comanches and Apaches and everything out there, they're doing their war dance and doing all that stuff. That's been passed down from generation to generation to generation. You won't find out how to do those dances in any kind of book or writings. It's passed down. So I believe that this particular object or story from what this is has been passed down from generation to generation to generation. So all we can do right now is speculate, unless I don't think there's any living communities or civilizations right now, unless it's over in
I heard that too,
Tibet or in places. I mean, there could be in like Ethiopia, and there could be these legends, that this word of knowledge that's being passed down to generation, but it's not recorded. So I think that's where we lose the knowledge there, is because it's not recorded in any.
Because it's kind of like playing the game of telephone in a way. Some things get lost in translation as generations.
I think some generations
go
in
on.
different cultures may still know what this is, but the word just doesn't get out to us. There are probably people on this planet that know exactly what it is, because it passes down from culture to generation, but it doesn't make it out of that that.
Maybe the Vatican
pocket.
knows.
Well,
Since
they
they're
have
carrying
to.
on with
Wouldn't
it.
they have to?
Yeah, I would think so.
If they're carrying it around and carrying the pine cones around, I mean, why are they going to have pine cones in their staffs if they don't know what it represents? But why haven't they shared that with us, what that is?
Somebody sure wants your attention. Is that your phone that keeps going off?
No, that's my toy.
Your toy? You have a toy that keeps going off. Oh, okay.
So, anyway, I still have my opinion. So let's get everybody else's opinion. Let's talk about it, and let's keep watching. And at the end, we'll put our opinions together and see what we all feel, how we feel.
Well, here's a hippie for you.
Oh, I love.
You got to trust a hippie.
I am a hippie.
Me too.
You can trust
a bald hippie.
Not everyone believes coincidence alone can explain what we're seeing. Some independent researchers argue that the similarities are simply too numerous and too widespread to dismiss without closer examination. David Cross has spent more than 3 decades comparing ancient sites across the globe. His conclusions are certain to spark discussion.
People keep telling us these civilizations never met. Maybe. That's the wrong question. I've spent more than 30 years standing where these ancient people stood. Turkey, northern Iraq, Mexico, Cambodia, Indonesia, Peru, India. I've hiked the ruins, flown drones over forgotten temples, photographed thousands of carvings, and filled more notebooks than I care to admit. What surprised me wasn't how different these places were. It was how familiar they felt. Different languages, different religions, different continents, thousands of years apart, yet certain ideas keep appearing. Creating beings, sacred mountains, the tree of life, great floods, wise teachers descending from the heavens, and these curious handled objects. Now, could all of that be coincidence? Certainly. Could every civilization simply have arrived at similar ideas on their own? Absolutely. But after a while, you stop noticing the differences, and you begin noticing the patterns. I'm not saying aliens. I'm saying someone taught somebody. Whether those teachers were travelers, a forgotten civilization, master navigators, or something history has yet to recognize. That's the question that keeps sending me back into the field, because history still has secrets buried beneath our feet.
Hey, I love that question or that comment. Because, I mean, how many times will people see the Google symbol or Amazon symbol or something? Because everybody's using it somewhere or another. Yeah. What will that mean in the future? What were those people doing? Yeah. We have lots of symbols that we use. We see a lot of in today's society, that we know what it means, and they don't really mean anything, but they identify a product or something along those lines. So,
and I'm going to bring up something Amy said, because I saw this in a show of Ancient Aliens.
I brought that up earlier too.
So
but I did see that.
It's the pineal gland, pineal.
No,
the third eye, the third eye, and that is very interesting, because I've seen a lot of opinions on that represents the third eye. So if that is the case, then it's going to make my theory a lot more acceptable after we're done with watching what we're watching. I'll have my wind up at the end, but I appreciate that, Amy. I think you're right.
It's DMT is what it is.
That
Is that the right stuff?
Completely represent the pineal gland. Very good observation. I'm curious to know how you came to that conclusion, how you found that out, found that information out. You have to share that with me at one time.
Probably the same way we did, because that's where I saw it was on Ancient Aliens. So is it, or one of those shows, or maybe it was just somebody's YouTube video.
I think it was
that I watched, because it was while I was studying, or preparing for this segment, but I did see that.
And again, when I first brought this issue up to Joey, I'm like, hey man, let's do a show in the basket. And then like 4 days later, I'm like, so how you doing? He goes, dude, this is way too much information.
It's a lot of stuff,
we're
man.
going to be able to do this show this week, because there is so much more to this. And that's what just fascinates me, because if there's so much information about this to be investigated, why aren't we hearing more about it?
Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't make any sense.
Well, we have one more to watch, but I really do like that, what Amy brought up, and the idea that maybe it's a substance like DMT or something that's in that bucket.
Right. And Amy, so Joey and I have discussed this, and there's a lot more information that we've discovered during our research that is going to lead us to do another show about that and more, and we'll talk about it here in a minute.
A few more elements that come together.
Thank you for sharing that. That's very important.
So I'm just going to show the one more. This is she's more along the lines of our ancient alien theorist type. So I can dig it.
And then there are those willing to ask the question most historians rarely explore. What if these remarkably similar symbols are not independent inventions at all? What if they are echoes of a shared inheritance, remembered by civilizations separated by oceans, yet connected by something far older? Author and researcher Dr. Elena Vasquez has spent years investigating that very possibility.
One civilization carving an unusual symbol. That's interesting. Two civilizations carving something similar. Perhaps coincidence. But when remarkably similar symbols begin appearing across thousands of years on multiple continents, history invites us to ask better questions. Not bigger questions, better ones. How did cultures separated by oceans leave behind imagery that feels strangely familiar? Were they all inventing the same ideas independently? Perhaps. Is that impossible? Of course not. Human beings have always been wonderfully creative, but creativity alone doesn't explain every pattern. Again and again, we encounter the tree of life, winged beings, divine teachers, sacred mountains, great floods, and these mysterious handled objects, different names, different languages, different civilizations. Yet somehow, the same ideas continue to emerge. Mainstream archaeology quite rightly reminds us that similarities do not automatically prove contact. I agree. Evidence should always come before conclusions, but curiosity should come before certainty. If we dismiss every mystery before we've fully explored it, we stop doing science and begin protecting assumptions. I am often asked, do you believe ancient visitors came from another world? My answer usually disappoints people. I don't know. What I do believe is that our ancestors may have remembered something we no longer understand. Perhaps remarkable teachers, Perhaps an advanced civilization. Perhaps knowledge carried farther than history currently allows. Or perhaps something we haven't even imagined yet. History does not become less fascinating because we ask difficult questions. It becomes more honest. History may be remembering teachers we've forgotten.
Unmute. There we go. So, I that's the most honest answer I could ever give anybody to.
Yeah.
I mean, I have my ideas and my thoughts and all that, but to say that I absolutely have a belief that we were visited by, ancient aliens or whatever is, I mean, I don't know, but the evidence leans me in that direction. But to say I absolutely know, I can't say that.
No. And we don't even know if the moon landing happened. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
There are people out there that say it never happened. There are people out there that say, yeah, absolutely. And if we can't figure out something that simple, I mean, this is much more profound than that.
Yeah. Well, that's why I guess my point bringing that up is I'm more skeptical of those that profoundly, proclaim things to be
Believe
factual.
Right.
Yeah. Or
I
that
like
because there's
like
too
her
many
approach on it.
factors.
Yeah, I liked her approach on it. She wasn't completely convinced. I mean, you have all these different cultures having all these different things, and yet she's not completely convinced that it's combined one conclusion.
Yeah.
I can't
Yeah.
think like
So are we
that.
asking the right questions, or we need to ask better questions?
I think we need better answers. I mean, all the questions are good and relevant. I mean, how does this continent over here and this continent over here and this continent over here, thousands and thousands of years apart, having the same product?
That's the mind-blowing
that has
portion
to
of it.
lead you to a conclusion that it's not coincidence.
Yeah. I mean, it's like one teacher taught the whole class, and that whole class was the world, all societies.
Yeah, and that class
And then
went
somehow
out believing that. And that class over there did the same thing. All right. So
I don't know, it can hurt your head.
Let's have your. All right. So you've seen not evidence. You've seen theories. You've seen presentation. You've seen everybody's ideas. It could be brought from visitors from outer space. Absolutely, I believe that 100%. I think we all can agree on that. I think we can all agree that this is intervention from alien or.
Yeah. Do you think that today's society or today's population really has different questions than, say, an ancient civilization had? Don't you think we all still have the same questions? That we've always had the same questions throughout history?
Sure. Yeah, but it depends on what subject you're talking about. I mean, the creation of man
Well, I mean, the main ones,
or
where did I come
dinosaurs.
from? Why am I here? Where am I going after this life?
Yeah, but
I
it's
mean,
like some people believe that dinosaurs don't exist, and I don't even know how that can be possible. I mean, there's so much evidence, but there are people out there that don't believe that. So, Joey, let me hear your take. Let me hear your take on what you think we're seeing, what you think we're looking at. Because I've got mine.
um,
I'm going to be very honest about it and very forthcoming. I'm almost certain I believe in what this is.
I,
Let me
yeah,
hear your
I
take.
I kind of lean towards the idea that it holds those secrets that you can only obtain by entering that dimension, if you will. And
More specific. Come on.
so I'm talking DMT, if you know what that is.
I should.
It's well, it's a substance that people take, and it opens that third eye. It opens
Shrooms?
up a whole different dimension, and
Shrooms? Are we talking
people
shrooms?
come back. Similar, but it might come from shrooms. I don't know where it actually comes from, to be honest with you. It may be a
I'm sorry,
derivative.
I don't know what DMT is.
You have to look it up. It's
Okay.
little bit. I'll give you this. Dimethylpatamine. I can't say it.
And what is it? What does that do?
Dimethyltryptamine.
Okay.
So it's a powerful, naturally occurring psychedelic drug that causes intense, short-lived visual hallucinations and altered perceptions of time and reality.
So does that take you through dimensions and take you to different realms?
It takes you into it. It opens up that third eye. That's
really,
yeah.
How can I get some of that?
I don't know.
Well, I'll have to find out.
It's lasts for about 4 to 6 hours. Of course, there's risks and dangers, but
oh hell, I'm not afraid of nothing. Look at me.
So I because look at our Native Americans,
Yeah, peyote and
cultural.
all that stuff. Yeah. They opened up their spiritual awareness in different ways.
And they're more at one with the universe and the earth than any of us.
Maybe more, not like the monks though. The monks that sit up there and meditate for 14 hours, they're probably in a whole different dimension.
Some of this
and
stuff
we don't know if they're
are
taking DMT or not.
No, I believe some of those elements our bodies can produce naturally if we know how to activate it.
Exactly. They may not need the DMT. They may sit up there and go through this meditation where they go to an outer body experience and can enter that realm and dimension without having DMT.
Exactly.
And I know that people that have done shrooms have gone to different alternate universes and realms and stuff. And I would love to experience that. Maybe this purse is holding DMT.
And it could have been brought by visitors from another planet. Who knows?
It could have been. So, what is that? All right. So, what do you think?
I guess my bottom line on that is, I believe that it might be, because I can't say for sure, that it's just something that does open up more reality or answers, opens that realm where you can get some answers. That would make it a very sacred place.
I agree.
And very sought after.
I'm totally on board with that. Okay.
What was this one? He sees code in lasers.
Interesting. Okay. Are you ready for my take?
I am. I'm excited.
All right. So I've been not meditating on this, but I've been concentrating, and I go to sleep at night, and I've been praying to my spiritual guides, and I've been praying for knowledge and understanding on this whole handbag thing. All right. Now, we're going to get into things later that are really going to open up a world of questions, and we'll do that at a later show. And I hope everyone sticks around for that. But here is my take on these bags, on these purses, on these. There's so many different names for them in so many different cultures. Here's what I think. I think these are. Did anybody ever watch Felix the Cat when you were a kid? Felix the Cat, the wonderful, wonderful cat. Da, 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 da. Only Felix, the wonderful cat. And he had his magic bag of tricks. And every cartoon, he went through an episode and he got into a bind, or he met a little girl or a little boy and they had a problem and everything like that. And he reached into his bag of tricks and out came a solution. All right. So that's the fundamental part of the bag. But I believe the bag was the word of knowledge. And I believe that different, like the Anunnaki and different people from the heavens came, the Anunnaki, I believe they came down to different civilizations, and with the purse, they shared knowledge of mathematics, of astronomy, of what are all the different things, Joey, I was saying the other day, of architecture, of agriculture, of medicines,
Beer making. Yes.
Yeah, I think that bag contained the knowledge of the world, and that's what they came down and shared with all of these different civilizations throughout the world. And I believe that they didn't come down here and just speak to the people and share the knowledge. I think this bag contained the knowledge of all of the world's makeup of chemistry, of spiritualism, of agriculture, of mathematics, of medicines, of everything. I think it contained everything that a culture needed to survive and to survive, prosper, and to create. And I think it gave them that knowledge, though they were able to survive and manifest in their culture. So it happened there, and it happened there, and it happened there, and it happened there, and it happened there. And all of these people recorded because of the knowledge they received that was so overwhelming. They recorded on hieroglyphs and petroglyphs and carvings of this bag that was so important because it gave so much knowledge and information. And I think this bag was important because it contained the answers to life.
You just gave me chills a little bit there.
And this bag, if it weren't for this bag, none of these civilizations would have the exact same things that are all over the planet. They're all identical.
I mean, it's very symbolic.
Agriculture, astronomy. Yeah. This came out of these bags that they presented to these cultures. And all the people all over the world and all over the cultures, all they could say was, wow, this bag was full of knowledge. This bag. Oh my God, this bag. And so they recorded this bag in all of their civilizations, from 15,000 years ago to 10,000 years ago to up till now. I mean, this is where all this knowledge came from. This is why these bags are all over the world and recorded in all these different cultures, because all of the knowledge came out of these bags. Now, they did do circles, and they did the stars, and there are hieroglyphs and petroglyphs of the solar system, and it had like 11 planets. And people are like, well, there's only 9 planets, but what were these? And there's confusion, and there's speculation as to what that meant. But this information could have come out of this bag. Okay, the Egyptians, the wheat, how they made beer. You know, the people that built the pyramids, they lived on bread and beer, and they
were paid in beer.
They've uncovered in Giza, they've uncovered the beer vats, and they've gotten down to the granules and the wheats and the barleys, and actually they've reversed engineered it and put it in these things. We can actually reconstruct and brew the beer that the Egyptians were making and actually drink it, because we can reproduce it now. Because
I'm trying to think of the name of that stuff. We did a show on that.
Yeah.
Tim, or
so
Keith and I.
And then you talk about you talk about agriculture, different wheats, different corns, different minerals, different roots, different. I believe that they discovered all of the things about mathematics, about agriculture, about medicines, about everything. All of that came from this bag that they brought down and shared with all these different cultures, because all these different cultures have the same results that came from this bag. So I think this bag was a bag of knowledge.
I like that, Tim. And I'm going to agree with you 100%. And let me talk, because I got to go.
All right.
It's Lisa's birthday, and we got to go
to
dinner. But
that's my
I do really like that explanation, and it gave me chills, because I was thinking, if it represents knowledge, and then
but then the penal
pine cone in
has to be there to understand it,
open things up. But I mean, then the pine cone is them dispersing that knowledge out of the bag.
Got it.
And
and
I really like that.
It takes both. It's a combination of both of them. And the watch, we'll get into the watch later, but that's my take.
I like it. Great job, man. Sorry to cut you off.
No, I got spiritual there. I kind of went off. Sorry about that.
That's all right.
But anyway, you guys, I hope you enjoyed the show, and we're going to do a lot more on this topic. And Lisa, happy birthday. You guys go out and have a great freaking time.
We're going to do it. I appreciate everybody chiming in and following us on this, because it is a mind-blowing topic, because we can speculate and hear everybody else's speculations, and I just still have to say I do like Tim's take on it.
And please, you guys, if you have comments later and everything, send us information. Tell us what you think. You can share it on Facebook. We'll be doing a lot of shorts on this stuff. Please give us your input. But until then, that's Papa Joy.
And that's Uncle Tim.
And we will see you guys on our next show. And we can't wait. We're almost at 10,000 subscribers and followers. And we're going to have a great show. So please stay tuned.
Thanks. Good night, everybody.
Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the journey, don't forget to subscribe, like, and share the video. Drop us a comment and tell us what out there topics you want us to explore next.
Beyond the